Hello, it's Michelle and Olive. As you can see, she's taking her nap. I shouldn't say her nap. She kind of sleeps all day. She's either full of energy and running all over the place, or she's like this. I love it when she's like this. I mean, I like it when she plays too, but it's still cozy and snuggly. You just got coffee on me with your kicking. Sorry. Anyway, so we had a nice morning so far. It's actually Friday. It's a work day, and it's a really slow day for me at work, which I don't have a whole lot lately, but I'm embracing it and enjoying it. We um we took Brad to the airport this morning. He's going on a business trip, and it looks like he's just going to be gone overnight. It might be 2 days though. I'm not sure. So we took her with us. She loves riding in the car. And I have been reading Dune. I was reading out loud to her for a little bit there. She seems to like that. She likes hearing my voice. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a very original book, and I like the writing. I like the character depth, and I'm sure it'll go quite a bit deeper into the characters because this series has quite a few books. It looks like there's 6 books in this series, and as you see, this one is pretty thick. So I'm sure over time it'll get even deeper into these characters. But I'm just really enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying reading about the desert. As you know, I live in the desert. I love the desert. The desert feels like home to me. There's actually a quote in here. This is in the beginning of the book, so it's not giving anything away. Paul shrugged. Then she said, "A good ruler has to learn his world's language, and it's different for every world." And I thought she meant they didn't speak Gallic or Iraqis. But she said that wasn't it at all. She said she meant the language of the rocks and growing things, the language you don't hear just with your ears. And I said, that's what Dr. Yu calls the mystery of life. Well, I was thinking about that. The language of the rocks and growing things, the language you don't hear just with your ears. I think places have a language. And that was why I wanted to move to Vegas, was there's something about the desert, but this desert especially, that speaks to me. I feel like I have a connection or something. I know it sounds super silly, but I felt this magnetic pull to come here and to live here. I don't know if it was because I was born in the desert or what. I've always lived near the ocean in all the different places I've lived, but for some reason, this is my home. And I know a lot of people, when they hear that I live in Vegas, they think I live on the strip with like a stripper pole in my living room or something. It's not like that at all. I just love in my car looking in any direction and seeing the mountains. And I like these mountains in particular. I love cacti, and I'm just a desert person. I don't know, I am. I enjoy visiting other places, but this is my home. And so it's really fun to read a book where somebody's talking about the desert so much. So if you're not familiar with this book, it starts out with this family. You've got the Duke and Jessica. She's his concubine. They're not actually married, but he doesn't have any other concubines, so it's almost like they're married. I don't know. And Paul is their son. And the book is about Paul. I guess you would say it was a coming of age story that starts when he's 15. Or I'm assuming that's what this is. And they have to move to a different planet altogether, which is a very wild thought to me. Like, it sounds kind of cool, super adventurous, But my gosh, I mean, if you've ever moved to a different state or even a different town or city in the same state, it can be so different and so confusing. I've moved across the country twice now. I went from Seattle, where I grew up, over to Virginia, and then I ended up moving from Florida over to Las Vegas. So both times it was a lot of culture shock. And I just can't imagine moving to a different planet, what that would be like. I mean, suddenly just all the things that we think of as normal here on Earth would be different, right? It's just kind of wild to think about. Anyway, I'm really enjoying the book, and I'm rambling a lot, and I'm sorry. I definitely think this is a good book for me to be reading, and I'm glad I chose this as my series. I just kind of had it in my head, since I'm not doing TBRs anymore, that I wanted to have a series that I was reading. And I know fantasy and sci-fi is so popular, and I figure there's got to be a reason why. And why not give it a chance a little bit more? And I just decided on this one. And I think what appealed to me so much was I know that Dune takes place in the desert. I don't know if it does the whole series or not, but because I love the desert so much, I thought it would be the perfect series to start with. And I know it's really slow burn, which I personally love. It's very soothing and relaxing to me. So it's been wonderful reading this book today with this snoring puppy on my lap, and I've got my mug of coffee, and I've got some water over here in my stormtrooper glass. I'm just having a good day. I'm assuming I'll get a lot of reading done today since Brad's not here. Not that he stops me from reading. I just found that when he's not around, I tend to read a lot more. I guess because we're not watching our shows and stuff like that. Right now we're watching Suits. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's about a law firm and the people that work in it. And we really love it. I've tried to get into a show for me to watch by myself because he works a lot. He works a lot of overtime, and I've got like a really good job where I just work during the day, and when I'm done with my day, I'm done. I don't have to work after that, and nobody's calling me or bothering me. And even if they did, I turn off my work phone so they can't get a hold of me. I set real boundaries with my business. I just got a text message that Brad landed where he was going. Yay! I'm reading Death on the Nile, but that one I'm listening to. I have a physical copy, but I'm listening to it. And the way that I came about that book was I wanted to read an Agatha Christie book, and I grabbed 3 of them off the shelf, and I asked Brad to just pick one for me because I didn't care which one. And he picked Death on the Nile, and so that's the one I'm listening to. I'm about halfway through. I'm really enjoying it. I think that it's kind of spicy. I wasn't expecting that. This is my 3rd Agatha Christie book. And I don't remember the other. One was a book of short stories, and the other one was, and then there were none. I didn't find either of those to be spicy, but this one's kind of spicy in certain ways. I do like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying listening to it. The voice actor is doing a really good job. I'm thinking about what I will listen to next. I'm assuming I'll probably listen to a whole other book before I finish Dune, since it's so big. I mean, I'm not even halfway through yet. 617 pages. And I am 173, so I'm almost a third of the way through. Yeah, I'll probably definitely get through a whole other audiobook before I'm done with it. I like to listen to music when I read, and Olive and I were just listening to a playlist I made on Spotify that's a bunch of classical music, which is wonderful for Dune. It matches Dune. But I've got all kinds of playlists. I've got an 80s reading playlist, a 90s one, and I should probably create even more of them. It just depends on what kind of a mood I'm in. But I love listening to records. There's nothing like a record. And so I finally broke down and got what I need to set up all my records and my record player in the library So I can sit down there and read as well, which will be wonderful because I don't really sit down there very much. Sometimes you just have to stop and enjoy the sunshine, even if there is just a tiny little box of it. Right, Zelda? So I am just over 300 pages into Dune. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's one of those books, if you don't like it by page 100, if you're not super into it, I would just DNF it at that point. But if you are, obviously keep going. My friend Kristen at Enter the Book said that she felt like she really got into it around page 100. I feel like I was pretty interested in it, and then around page 100, I knew for sure that I wanted to keep reading. So I think she's right about that. Puppy. We are going to get Brad at the airport. We're at the cell phone parking lot. Huh, puppy? Are you excited to see your daddy? Yeah. He's gone one night and she's going nuts. I finished Death on the Nile. I thought it was good. I thought it was a nice, fast-paced book. When I was saying it was spicy, I don't mean sexy spicy. I mean spicy like the movie Clue, kind of, where it's got that nice, quick tempo to it and going through all these different suspects and trying to figure out who did it. Oh, I know. We're going to see him in a minute, okay? He just got off the plane. Poirot, he kind of got on my nerves a few times. I just found him a little bit irritating sometimes with some of his little, aha, you know, but I already knew that kind of thing. I don't know that detectives operate that way now, where they already know everything and they're asking questions. It's like they're trying to find out kind of thing. But I thought it was very entertaining and good, and I love Agatha Christie. I give it 4 stars. My backlist book for this month is My Darkest Prayer by S.A. Cosby, and I'm listening to that one. So I've been listening to it in the car, and so far it's got that real macho, like S.A. Cosby feel to it, and I'm enjoying it. I love his writing and the way he describes things, and I love the audiobooks, the voice actor that does it. This narrator is impeccable, and he's got a really nice voice. What? But he does character voices really well, and he transitions into things really well. He's just really, really good. So whenever there's a chance, I will always listen to S.A. Cosby's books. Not that I won't buy them. I own all 3 of them. But But I like listening to them because he's got like a really nice, sexy voice. Otherwise, I'm just drinking some coffee. I made him some coffee and myself some coffee because I feel like when I fly, I always want some nice hot coffee or real cold water or something to drink when I get off the plane. I'm always dying of thirst, so I like to do that for him. Oh, that's what you don't like. So there's this car that's turned on, the lights are on, and they are pulling like plastic shopping bags out of the car and then walking about 10 parking spots over and putting all these shopping bags into a different car now, or a truck or whatever. You would think if you were going to do that in a cell phone parking lot at an airport, I don't know why you would, but if you're going to, wouldn't you park next to the car that you're unloading? It's kind of weird. Not my business, but that's what she keeps reacting to, is this guy walking back and forth. I don't think she likes him. She doesn't normally react to people unless there's something about them that like feels kind of off, like maybe they're up to no good. Then she reacts. So she doesn't like him, I think. It's okay, puppy. We're about to go get Daddy. You want to go get Daddy? You want to go get Daddy? Okay. And that's all that I have to report right now. I just sat around reading a lot. That's how I got up to page 300 with Dune, and that's how I finished Death on the Nile. Was I did a lot of listening also while throughout the day. While I was like cleaning and reading. I like to do that on the weekends. Oh, you want to come see Mommy? Hi. She's like, I can't stand it. She was sitting there without me.
Puppy.
Look at her reacting to that record player.
Olive.
What is that? It's Russian ballet music. It's called Petrushka. You like it? What? Where's that coming from, huh?
What's You like it?
Do you like it a lot? Would it be like what would happen if we put the theme song to your favorite show on? You know, the show about the dragons that you like?
What do you hear?
You like music?
What is that?
I wonder if there's a House of Dragons like vinyl that we can get.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'd like that. You're so silly. I just finished Dune. Dune. I thought this book was phenomenal. There was so much to it. As you see, I did annotate different parts of it, and there was a lot that I wanted to remember and look back on. I feel like there's so much in here that, like, there's something for everyone. There's love, there's hate, there's jealousy, there's rage, there's fighting, there's politics and war and survival and trying to figure out a way to want to wake up every morning even when things are awful. Oh, and there's also spirituality in there. There's some religion in there, but not, to my knowledge, not a religion that is around on this world. But looking forward to reading the next one, and I give it 5 stars. Thought it was amazing. And then I listened to My Darkest Prayer by S.A. Cosby. This was my backlist book for the month, and I thought this book was really good. It's really engaging, and it's a mystery, but it's a really action-packed, high-paced mystery. It's about a guy named Nathan who was in the Marine Corps, and then he was a cop, and now he's working in a funeral home and living there. And I found him to be a really fascinating character because he's just trying to keep his nose clean and be a happy person. And it feels like to me, it felt like everyone was against him or trying to stop him from having a good life. But that's all he wants. He just wants to keep his nose clean and just live his life. And he gets hired by some women at a church to help him find out what happened when a minister dies. They think that he didn't kill himself. They think that he was murdered, and they want him to find out who done it. And that's what the book is about. There's a lot of twists and turns. It was really fun. It's really gritty and like dirty and naughty and fun and graphic and violent. But if you like those kind of books, you would love this. This was his debut novel, and it was good. His writing is just so amazing. It wasn't as good as I feel like there's this book, and then Blacktop Wasteland, and then Razorblade Tears. Like every time he writes a book, it gets better than the one before. So I do give this one 4 stars. Then I started listening to Never Lie by Freida McFadden, and I'm not done with it yet, so I'm not going to give it a rating yet. But it's a good book. It's very entertaining. It's not, I wouldn't say the writing is amazing or anything like that, but it's just a very entertaining book. I think it's pretty predictable so far, but I could be wrong. I'm not at the end yet. Maybe something will surprise me. But what it is about is there's a woman, Trisha, who is with her new husband, Ethan, and they want to buy a house. And so they've been going to all these houses, and they like them, but they don't love them. And their realtor has recommended this house that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And so they decide to go out there, and a snowstorm is happening. Now, how they didn't know a snowstorm was going to happen ahead of time, I'm not really sure. But they get there, and the realtor's not there. So they decide to go into the house anyway and look around. And it's this big, old, creepy house. Have you ever noticed that creepy houses are always multiple stories high and old? So I guess if you don't want to live in a scary house, just buy a ranch and you'll be good to go. A new ranch, you will never have to worry about ghosts. So they go in there and they realize that this, or maybe they already knew, I can't remember, but they realize that there's this renowned psychiatrist named Adrian who has written a couple books and was really, really popular, who just disappeared one day. And they are in her house. Well, they get trapped there because of the storm, and some creepy stuff starts happening there. And Trish starts discovering a few things about the house and about Adrian, and she thinks maybe there's something going on. Is there someone in the house, like up in the attic? She's hearing weird noises. She doesn't know. She finds like a trap door, like in the wall, where there's all these interviews that the psychologist or psychiatrist has done with people, and she's bored, so she starts listening to them, and like it becomes kind of weird, kind of creepy, and there's red flags about her husband, so it's just kind of what's going on here. And I don't want to say anything else anyway, because I don't want to give anything away if you're going to read it or listen to it. But it's not the kind of book where I feel like I'm head over heels in love with the author's writing or anything like that. But the storyline and the way that it's executed is fast moving and entertaining. And it was the perfect book to listen to right after my darkest prayer, which was so high paced and so exciting. This one is kind of keeping that going for me. And I love that. I love books that I don't want to put down or don't want to stop listening to. So that has been my reading month so far. I've been having a great reading month. I am going to be reading The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz next. And this one is about a woman named Alex who wants to be a published author, and she gets accepted to this writing retreat. And the writing retreat is a month long, and there's this really weird, I guess, kind of quirky person that runs the writing retreat, and she's trying to get used to that. But she also shows up and finds out that her ex-best friend, who's now her enemy, Ren, is also at this writing retreat. And so she's trying to deal with her and her manipulation, and they have to stay a whole month and write an entire book to find out who won the big prize. And the mansion that they're staying in is haunted. I'm sure it's more than one story. And I'm sure it's old, but it's haunted. She's just scared. And then one of the writers goes missing during a snowstorm. Sounds like a fun book, right? I'm really looking forward to it. I love books about writers, not because I am one, but because I love reading books, and I find writers to be very fascinating. And this book is a debut book by the author. And I saw on the jacket that she is a therapist and a writer, obviously, who lives in Brooklyn. It's pretty fun. And if you want to see the book, it's this beautiful dark green and cream color. I love dark green. Forest green is my favorite color. And this was my book of the month selection, and I'm going to be reading it starting tonight. And it came with this bookmark, "Be Mine, Me to Every Book." That's cute. It's kind of funny. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I believe, my husband and I both believe in being romantic regularly and for no reason at all, not just one day a year because that's the day everybody else does it. But I decorate for Valentine's Day, and I usually read at least one romance novel in February. I don't know if I will this month, but we'll see. And I like the candy. So it's kind of weird, right? Because how many people decorate for a holiday they don't celebrate? But here I am, living my best life. I am going to be spending 4 days with my mom down in Yuma, Arizona soon. And I thought it might be fun to do a video with her where I ask her questions, or I could even answer questions, or we both could. If you have any questions for me or my mom or both of us, let me know. She's really open. She'll answer just about anything. I think she will answer anything. And she's got a YouTube channel of her own too. We'll get into all that in the video when I'm down there, but we'll continue this vlog tomorrow. Just keep on going with it. I hope this wasn't too long. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Happy reading. Bye.